This is the only way that you're going to be able to locate and find the best, fastest selling items on eBay for fourth quarter or year round. All right, welcome back in the channel, guys. And yeah, during fourth quarter, I start getting asked a lot more, and I see a lot more people joining the reselling world or trying out reselling, and they want to know how to find the hottest items or the fastest, best-selling items to flip on eBay for profits or other platforms for that matter, but we're going to focus on eBay for today. And there's really only two ways to do that. So a lot of people are always focused on like, what am I paying for an item and what's it sell for and how much is my profit? And yeah, that's really important, but that's just determining how much money you're going to make on the item. We want to determine on how quickly you're going to make that money on the item, how fast you're going to be able to put that inventory onto eBay and get it sold and get it moved out. Turnover rate, sell-through rate, that's what we call it. That's what most people refer to it as. So there's two ways to determine sell-through rate. I'm going to take you over to my screen, show you both of them, show you the math, and show you exactly how to find the fastest selling items. They don't have to be the most expensive selling items, although more expensive items with more profit margin is great. Faster selling items, the faster you can turn the inventory, the less storage you're going to need, and the less inventory you're going to have sitting, burning up your pockets and burning up your shelves. Also, the more items that are in your eBay store, a lot of people don't know this, a lot of items in your eBay store that have slow sell-through rates that are sitting for 6 months, a year, 2 years, will bring down your store's overall sell-through rate, and that will hurt your ranking in eBay. That has been a proven fact, and eBay has said that that is proven and a factual thing as well. Lots of bad garbage items in your store will pull your store down. So let's go over to the screen. Let's check out these two ways. Number one is overall sell-through rate. And number two is how many items are selling on a daily, weekly, monthly basis as compared to that sell-through rate. Whatever you're doing, whatever you're buying, whatever you're selling, it has to have good sell-through rate or it's just going to sit. Let's go over to the screen and I'll show you how to look it up. I'll show you the math and I'll show you what items you need to be looking for. Let's thank the sponsor of our channel in today's video, List Perfectly, the best and fastest cross-listing tool for resellers. They'll help you get your inventory in front of 12 platforms in just minutes, including eBay, Etsy, Poshmark, Shopify, Mercari, Facebook Marketplace, and many others. Thank List Perfectly for the time and effort they've put into bringing you this amazing tool. Save 30% on your first month or upgrading a month with List Perfectly using discount code ROCKSTARLP. I'll put it down in the description box. They do an amazing job. They have an amazing team, and we want to thank List Perfectly for being a sponsor of the Rockstarflipper YouTube channel. Okay, so I brought you over to my eBay, and I have opened up quite a few different items and quite a few different categories. I did video games, clothing, books, cell phones, computers, and glassware. I'm going to show you how to calculate this sell-through rate first, and then I'm going to show you how to determine if it's a good sell-through rate and what categories you should be looking for. So first we're going to start with this video game. It's Final Fantasy VII PlayStation 1. Now this is a reason that Amazon is so much head and above eBay for this. They actually have a ranking on any product you open on Amazon, which I have some link below you can click and check out. They have a ranking telling you how high or low an item is ranked. It's pretty good. The lower the rank, the better. So the first ranked item is better than the second ranked item. You want number one or number two over, the fifth ranked. So if something's ranked, 10th best on Amazon video game, it is the 10th best video game. If you had a video game ranked 1,000th best, well, that's way down the list. So Amazon does that, eBay doesn't. So we have to figure it out ourselves. So this particular game, it's Final Fantasy VII for PlayStation 1, one of my favorite games of all time. They remade this game. 2,100 listings plus are currently active on eBay for this result, right? So if you were to find this game at a thrift store, garage sale, or somewhere, pawn shop, you wanted to buy it, you would know that there's currently 2,100 of these active. So then we're going to go to solds, which I have open on the next page. 1,700 have sold. Now, some people think, 1,700 out of 2,100 sold, but that's not correct. 2,100 are still actively listed. This is inside the store. If you walked in a store, there's 2,100 of them. 1,700 of them have already shipped off and already been sent to their customers, which means 3,800 of these totally were listed. The 2,100 still sitting up there, and the 1,700 that sold. So our sell-through rate is 1,700 out of 3,800, not out of 2,100, because there were a total of 3,800 listed, right? So we're going to do the math of 1,700 out of 3,800, and we're going to find that it's 44.7, which is 44%. So about 44% of all the Final Fantasy games that were listed in the last 90 days, this is a 90-day total that eBay gives us, were sold. 44%. So that seems pretty reasonably good. Almost half of them sold. So what's a good percentage? What's a good sell-through percentage? Well, typically, there's no set number. It depends on the category that you're in. But overall, if you're comparing all the categories, you definitely want to be over 25 or 30% if possible. Something in the 40s and 50% is really, really, really good. You're going to see in a minute. Anything under 20% is pretty bad. Anything between 20 and 25 is okay. 25 and 30 is pretty good, and over 30% you're starting to be a really good sell-through rate. When you get as high as 44%, it means that item is going to sell pretty quickly. And then you can do simple math of 1,700, which we know is what sold in the last 90 days. And you can see that 18, almost 19 copies of this sell every single day. So if you were talking about over the next 10 days, we know that 190 copies of this is going to sell in the next 10 days. You got a pretty good chance of selling this as long as you price it well and do everything you're supposed to do. Let's look at a clothing item. I just pulled one randomly, Tommy Bahama shirt, and you guys can do this for any item, any brand, any category that you want. You can make yourself a list of your brands. You could go through all the brands that you have, like Nike t-shirt, Nike polo, Ralph Lauren polo, Levi's women's jeans, Levi's men's jeans. You can search these and do exactly what I'm doing and figure out the sell-through rates for all your different brands and items you have in stock. And you'll figure out like, hey, my American Eagle shirts are like 10%, they're terrible, but my Tommy Bahama button downs are 40%, they're doing really good. I should try to focus on these brands and not the other ones. So, Tommy Bahama button-down shirts. I didn't put any size or anything else, just what it is, a button-down shirt. They're 22,000 plus results. Sold 6,800, which means 28,800 were listed. 28,800 were listed. We sold 6,800 of them. This is a 23%, almost half of what the Final Fantasy game sell-through rate is. This sell-through rate is 23.6%, almost 24, not quite, but 23.5% sell-through rate, which like I told you, under 20% is slow. It's going to be a slow item. Above 20% to 25% is okay. It's not great. We're in that range. It's okay. They'll sell, but they're not great. And any of these percentages doesn't mean an item won't sell. It's just the quickness that it's going to sell. This one's going to hang around for a little while, potentially. If you could list one, right? Like this particular shirt says the days of our wines. This shirt, I'm surprised, doesn't sell very, very quick. It's on auction, so it is going to sell. You could get this shirt and sell it in 2 or 3 days, right? You could get a plain one, and it could take you 3 months to sell it. So it's just an overall average. But average for these shirts is 23.6%. They're going to hang around a little while. They're not that great. They're okay, but they're not great. I did a Goosebumps book search. 19,000 Goosebumps books are active, and 4,500 have sold, which means 23,500 were listed. So we do our 4,500 over 23,500, 19.14%. Books are generally slow, and unless you have good ones, again, they could sell in a day, they could sell in 2 days, they could sell in 3 days. Some of these Goosebump books are, vintage. They're from my day and age. I've read probably every one of them. They're selling really good. So if you're buying these things for 50 cents, you're buying these things for $1, and you're selling them for 29, for 30, for 18. That's a great turnover margin, especially with $40 for a lot of 9 of these, especially with Media Mail and Ground Advantage. This one probably not that great, $377. But if you can get the ones that are worth a lot, even with a slow sell-through rate, they might be worth putting in inventory and having around. Now let me show you where things change when you're looking for hot items. iPhone 14 Pro Max. I didn't do a gigabyte, I didn't do a color, I didn't do a carrier. 2,600 of them are active right now. I'm actually surprised there isn't more because the new phone just came out, right? So 2,600 plus iPhone 14 Pro Maxes. Look at the solds. 3,300 more sold than are still listed. It's a total of 5,900. Well, we already know that 3,300 out of 5,900 is a 55.9, almost 56% sell-through rate. These things fly off the shelves when people want them. Let's go to MacBooks. I just looked up MacBook Pro. Not a year, not a hard drive size, none of that stuff, right? Not a screen size. There's 19,000 of them listed. 30,000 have sold. 19,000 listed, 30,000 sold. So 30,000 of these have sold out of the 49,000 that were listed. 61.22%. That is insane, right? 62%, insane. Let's go to something like this, a Fiesta Weare. There are almost 40,000 Fiesta Weare pieces listed active or that have the Fiesta Weare in the title. Only 10,000 have sold. So 10,000 out of 49,000 on the Fiesta Weare. Pretty easy math should be, but it's 20%. This is right at 20. This is the slowest moving item besides the Goosebumps book. And again, it doesn't mean it won't sell. It just means it's going to sit for a while. The overall averages, if you run this for like Milkware and Fiesta Weare and Corningware, and then you run it for books like Goosebumps or Stephen King or any of that stuff, you run iPhones, MacBooks, tablets, iPads, AirPods, you run all the headphones, Beats, all this high-tech electronic stuff, the sell-through rate is so fast, and it's because that's what people are looking for. You gotta look for these things like this Final Fantasy game that has a high sell-through rate, these video games, these toys, these action figures. That's what you have to do. Now, obviously, I can't on video sit here and run through 1,000 categories with you guys and 1,000 specific items, but you can start getting the hint where you could run a category one day. You're gonna run glassware, and you're gonna check on the sell-through rates and everything of, 100 items, Fiesta Weare, Milkware, glassware, Corningware, whatever it is, and you're gonna see all their sell-through rates are 18%, 20%, 15%, 21%. You're going to see overall those categories are averaging, 18, 19%, and that out of all of them, the best one might be Fiesta Weare. Then you're going to run clothing brands, men's shirts, and you're going to find these 20s and these 22s. You might find some like, I don't know this, but maybe Columbia Omni Shade shirts have a 40% sell-through rate. They just sell really quickly. Those are ones you want to hunt for. Those are ones you want to keep an eye out for. And I'm not saying to pass on inventory because of the sell-through rate, but I'm saying you have to be cognizant of this. You have to be aware of the sell-through rates and how long things are sitting in your store and how long you're willing to wait on them to sell, and that you might need to price them aggressively or run a promoted 3% or 4% or run a sale of 15, 20% off to do what you have to do to move this inventory out. If you're charging shipping, run free shipping on them, adjust the price, whatever it is to get your slow-moving inventory out the door. After this video, I want you to go back and I want you to audit your own store to look up all the items or to go through the categories of the items that are slow selling based on their sell-through rates, based on your research, edit them, price them differently, run the sale, promote them, get them moving, watch your sales go up because of what you're doing to those items, and because your overall store's sell-through rate will start creeping up. The rest of your good items will get promoted and pushed up by eBay more, and you'll make even more sales from that. That'll snowball, and so on and so on. So that is how you locate the hottest items on eBay for sale, how you know they're gonna sell quick, the categories that you can see between video games, cell phones, tablets, and computers. You can see the glassware versus books. You can compare any of these on your own time, but that's just kind of a little sample for everyone to see. With that, I'll leave the rest of the work for you guys. I appreciate you watching as always. If you don't mind, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. It helps my algorithm and it helps me here on YouTube. And check out my website, www.ProEcommercelister.com, and let us make all of your listings for you. Take your photos, we'll make the listings, get them up quicker, and your sell-through rate will even go higher. We have specials and a discount code RSF15 on the website down below. Thank you everyone for watching, and I'll see you next time.